I forgot. It really does happen automatically. Yay! Again, this is... In my head, I keep on repeating myself, this is just for me. I just keep on thinking and saying all these things about God of War, and I realize that obviously I'm just talking to myself, and I just figured I might as well broadcast and just get some of this stuff down. And then, you know how your brain goes, where you say, oh, I'll save all that for a God of War review, and then I'll start saving clips. And at some point you realize you're not going to do that. You may not exactly do that. I definitely have some clips, but I may not have the time to do a review because we're playing this game so much. But here's the deal.
Here you are.
Here I am. This is how we get started. That's right.
Yes, of course. Didn't mean to offend. I'm not offended.
Clouds your judgment.
Yeah, right, okay. So, basically, I was just going off in my head, basically about how the characters really do interact with each other and with Kratos, and it's just so interesting to me. I guess I should give you a little bit of a background if anyone ever finds this and/or listens to it. And I may even have a special guest for no one to welcome. Here's the deal. I've been a huge fan of this franchise ever since the beginning. That could not be more true. I've been playing God of War ever since, and I started with the first one, and I played every single one basically after they came out. So even though I may not remember everything, like, I'm up to date, and I have the sort of history of Kratos in me. I don't have to think. The only thing I haven't played is what is now considered canon in the God of War canon, I suppose, because they confirmed it in this game. I mean, and to be honest with you, if you know what I'm talking about, I don't know what the game is called. It's some little game where Kratos was a character. It's like a little fighting game, and it has something to do with, like, God of Shovel or something like that. I'm sure it's I think it's called, like, PlayStation Champions or something like that. I don't know. Point is, they even bring that up, and yeah, it's canon. Why did I bring that? Okay, so that's the only one I really haven't played. And I did also, I've been doing a lot of research before RAGNAÖK, and I want to mention some YouTubers, of course, mainly Captain Kuba, because I discovered that guy, who is by far like the Pandora. He's Pandora in the box of all this God of War on YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. And there's another dude that I found out whose name is Extreme Gameplays. His videos are fantastic. The editing is great, and I can, every time he talks about editing lately, I'm just like, I feel you, dude. I totally feel you. I have edited a couple of videos in my past. This whole YouTube thing was just started because of Red Dead, and I don't know how many videos I exactly made, but man, editing was, I learned a lot about editing, and mostly how hard it is, just because of how hard it is to do. It's tedious, it's tedious and relentless. It just kind of never stops. That's my overview quick of editing. So here, let's try to stay on topic. So basically, right, played all the games. See, I don't remember. I know I was talking about how the characters react to one another. And I guess the main point that I was really going to kind of come about in a roundabout way is that okay, so I was watching a lot of playthroughs with Kuba and some other people. So I've definitely seen some people play this game very fast. Mostly his playthrough. Surprisingly, I have actually a lot to say about that as well. If anyone asks me anything about BioShock Infinite, I guess this is the point where I say leave it in the comments, because if I even see one comment, I will even just play God of War and just talk about that and what I think he just went through with this game. I think Captain Kuba actually went through a very similar experience I had, and I think you're going to really learn from your mistakes on that one, pal. Trust me, I did it too. But anyway, main point, definitely heard some critiques about Kratos and how the story isn't about Kratos. And parts of that are very true. I mean, I have my own critiques about the game, absolutely. I got plenty to say about that. But, you know, I just wanted to sort of bring up the fact that Kratos is a really observant dude. Okay? Oh, excuse me. He's a real observant guy. Always in any of the games, it's not, he's never a juggernaut of ultimate destruction. I mean, he's a vehicle of unlimited destruction, but Kratos is very observant. And that's kind of why I even decided to broadcast. I couldn't decide, because I knew the word wasn't introspective, because that's actually what he is a little bit more in this game too, of course. But he's always been very, very observant to detail, and that's how you find all these little chests and all these little secrets, and it's great. So basically, yeah, it was always a third person field of view, so you got to see the whole scope of things and see Kratos sort of go through it and see that experience through your eyes, and now you're almost looking a little bit more through Kratos' eyes. And yeah, like as soon as you get out of the gate, as soon as you get out of the house and you walk over to the gate, you will notice Atreus is right there to the right. He's like, well, is that dragons down there? What the hell is that? And if you walk over, I don't even know if there's anything else. I mean, there may just be a but, you know, that comes back later in the story once you talk to Tusker, whatever, and they mention the dragons. I just remember seeing his playthrough, and he was like, "Dragons? What dragons?" And I'm like, if you didn't rush like right to the gate, you would have noticed it. So I just and if you're Kratos in like a humongous land, you're usually not going to be able to see what's on top of you and over the hill. You have to go there, and you get to see what's literally right in front of you. And a lot of the times, yes, other characters are right in front of you, and in a way you get to pick and choose what you pay attention to, but really the important message is that Kratos is paying attention. He's not a big ogre with an axe. He is a person who is paying attention to details and putting the story together and never showing his cards. The guy's like, well, you know, I bet he would be an amazing poker player. Anyway, that was one of the things I really wanted to bring up in this one. How do you put all that in like one review? Again, editing. Self-editing? A lot of people need to learn that, including me. Okay. So here, let me play the game a little bit, and I want to talk about Atreus for a minute.
Oh, you really don't think it means anything? After the journey Mom sent us on? Everything we saw in Jotunheim?
Uh-huh.
What was it all for?
Yeah.
Don't you ever think about that?
Every day. Like if only the purpose was to inspire you to take foolish risks.
Also, by the way, this is a spoiler warning to anyone who has not finished the game. I'm giving one spoiler warning. It's one of those things I really care about, not spoiling things for people. I don't really plan on doing it, whatever, but if something comes out, here's your one warning, if anyone is watching this, ever.
Well, what if the Giants are counting on me?
What Giants?
Mm.
I'm counting on you. Be safe. Be smart.
But
Use the judgment of a man and not of a child.
what
Yeah.
if Loki going to Ironwood? It's the only way that...
Oh.
Atreus. My son. Nothing more. Do you hear me?
See, and that's where Kratos was sort of wrong, right there. Like, he was making his point, and he just went over the line. Yeah, of course your words were chosen carelessly. I would like to say something quick about Tyr.
Some people swear by it.
You know, I'll put this... Oh, I guess I don't... Oh, I'm just in a
I just don't understand.
moving
Why
picture.
all this stuff about Loki and the champion and Ironwood if none of it's real? He's just so...
Wish I could... Can I mute this shit? Anyway, so yeah, Atreus is actually I don't exactly, I mean, he's annoying as he was in terms of the game. I don't find him ultimately annoying, and what I'm about to say is quite to the contrary. There's a really nice thing I think that they've done with Atreus, and they're showing that he's obviously more confident, but that is being headstrong and whatnot. There's actually a whole bunch of little qualities that he has that like remind you of like a younger Kratos, which is kind of whatever. Kind of whatever. That's like a thing, dude. All right, cool. It's a whole thing. Anyway, really, basically, he's not more annoying, but he is more independent. And of course, that gets reinforced with you playing as Atreus. And yeah, I guess I'm going to be... okay, anyway. We'll talk about that, I guess. I mean, I only did this because my wife went out for her haircut. So as soon as she comes back, like, this whole broadcast will probably just come down. Yeah, I can guarantee that, actually. So here we go. The one thing I'd like to say about Atreus is that they have definitely made him more, like, independent, and they have reinforced this in the story that, like, he's almost talking a little bit more at you and not treating you like a dad. Pretty much like a teenager would do. Like, basically, I found myself during times when I'm playing with Atreus, I wasn't annoyed at Atreus. I actually missed the 2018 Atreus. I missed my companion having a sense of wonder and me having all the answers. And I realized that, oh wow, that's really cool how they made me miss my young son, my child. And he says, I want things to go back to the way they were when things are simple and you were a child, and he becomes proud of his son, and I see I'm getting a little emotional, right? Like he becomes proud of his son and lets him move on and believes in him, of course, but I think all fathers with most children, they would say, or most fathers would say, like, yeah, like, I miss when you were little and you loved me. I guess that's really the main point, right? Like, that's what they miss. They want you to grow. They want you to be more independent. And by the way, Atreus, they would like you to stop fucking up. I mean, it is a semi-critique of the story. I will give it to them. Like, the critiques and the Kubas and whatnot. Like, Atreus is almost like one of the main reasons why this story ever continues. He's a huge drive, and it's also because he fucks up a lot. So, you know, you think teenagers being reckless. Imagine if you were Kratos' kid and like the damage that you could wield. Like, I get it. I get why they did it, and I get. I mean, even from like I would not be surprised if the team continues on with an Atreus game and probably not really mention Kratos at all. There may even be like an Easter egg or two, or a conversation about him, or like, where did you come from? Oh, I don't know, man. Don't you ask my father? Like, I'm sure it would come up. Wow. However, I don't know if I really do feel like I need to make a video about it, but since this is now like just sort of a diary of sorts, a blog, not a blog. What's a broadcast that no one will hear, but you keep it sacred? I think that's just called a diary. But anyway, I'll be the first to say it right now. And I love the writers, and I think the writers of this game get a huge pat on the back. But case in point, what I want to say is Atreus has to die. He does. Atreus has to die. I mean, maybe be captured, or maybe his soul is captured, so he hasn't died yet, or however they would like to play it. But for the most part, if we're ever gonna get old school mixed with new school Kratos again, but I'm talking about a Kratos who you remember. I mean, I love the fact that he's on a new path, and in the end of this game they show that panel, and it's a path. And what is he? He's a huge golden god, and as a matter of fact, if you look there, they kind of use I forget whatever it's called. Is it called force perspective or 3-something perspective? It's basically what the Egyptians use when you look at them on the wall, right? Like, look at his feet, like they're both parallel something. It's parallel perspective or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called. But that's kind of how it's painted a little bit. It's a nice little hint. It could happen. It could be a journey with his older son or Freya. I have a lot to say about Freya. Mainly, she's awesome. She's my new favorite character. I really could and should make a whole video about Freya. I love it. I love Freya. I am actually a little in love with Freya. I am not afraid to say it. It just feels a little weird, but it hey, haven't been in love in a while, my friends. So, wow, this lady, amazing. Anyway, so what was I talking about? You know what? I just had a great idea while I was talking about that. You'll see. So, yeah, I think that if Atreus were to die and get killed, by the way, maybe a needless death, by the way, like Baldur, or some sort of parallel that they would like to do, I suppose Atreus could try to take over his father's job just like his father before him and all that kind of shit. But no, I think Atreus needs to die, and I think Atreus needs to die, and Kratos needs to get off of his path. And we need to play that for a while, and I think we need a younger person. No, wait a minute. I don't know if I meant that. But I think we need a person who still has a bunch of rage left and wants to express it as a, you know what? I think we need an older person that has a lot of anger that they keep reserved and welled up, and I think they need to take it out as an adult. So Kratos is an adult, and I think we need to deal with some adult anger. And that doesn't necessarily mean I need to see every intestine or varicose vein or whatnot, but look, violence is great, and in video games, so, you know what? Strike all that in a way. Look, some of the kills in this fucking game have been fantastic. The one beast, the whatever, put this in afterwards, yeah. The way Freya destroys that thing, the way Freya takes off its head through the realm tear, brilliant. Just brilliant. I loved it. I thought it was just fucking cold and surprising, because, again, like, how many spikes or how many tails are we going to shove through monsters' necks? Like, we literally closed the gate on its head. Ah, love it. Loved that. And, by the way, I have heard some critiques about Heimdall's, murder and how I got flashbacks of this, but that's showing that he's going into his old ways, but it really isn't. It's not that bad. Give me something brutal. To be honest with you, I thought it was maybe one of the worst ones he's ever done. To be honest with you, really, maybe you need to be a little older and fear death just a little bit more, but look, yes, I've seen this guy do so many things, and I've seen this guy, and his control over Heimdall, the dominance that he shows in the end with that spear, and when he blew off his arm, oh my god, I forgot about that move. You know what I mean? Just the way the way he did it. And when you see it again, like, you see him move his arm just a little bit, like, I will just plop down and just, oh my god, amazing. And control, by the way, because that shows Kratos' growth. That really shows his growth, because yes, I have seen this dude rip off, like, oh my god, the most horrible thing, I think, was, besides, that guy, with the legs, when he kills Apollo, it's just horrible. It's horrible. He breaks his neck by punching, like, in the back, and then just, like, rips his head off. It's like grotesque. I know, I haven't thought about it in a while, right? But let me tell you something, man. Like, okay, I'm not trying to put notes into this. I do. Remember Kill Bill. I have a good point about that. Kill Bill 2. Anyway, Kratos is literally face to face, like, breathing in his last breaths of air, looking at him in the eyes, while he kills this man. I mean, to be honest with you, in some weird way in how they did it, you know, a lot of things have been either glorified, justified because of how they're glorified. And that was almost maybe one of the first times, I mean, and believe me, I remember, Heimdall was going to kill him, blah, blah, blah. It's the choice he had to make, and he gave it to Heimdall, blah, 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 blah. Yes, yes, yes! But it really did feel like cold-blooded murder almost, right? It really almost, it felt kind of wrong. It was personal. It was, you know, I'm glad I didn't have to tap 00000 or O to strangle him, and I know why, because as soon as you're done with this murder, let's just say it's a murder instead of a kill, as soon as you're done with this murder, you realize that in a way, I mean, no, never mind, but basically you don't have to choke him out. You get to watch, because I'm watching Kratos going, oh my god, I can't believe this. I can't believe that this is happening, and we're getting into Ragnarok, right? And then immediately my emotions are transferred with the perspective of Mimir and how they do that head-to-head. He is also looking too, and also I really do feel like that was kind of a nice little Breaking Bad reference, by the way, a nice little, like, just kind of a quick call, so that was fun. Yeah, I mean, it was given everything that I knew and accept and feel, especially when I play a video game, it felt a little cold and ooh. And yeah, when he says I've been going back into my old ways, it's almost like yeah you have, dude, because in a way, you know, you get joggers are joggers, they're undead creatures or whatever. Like, these things are just sort of a necessity of life to kill them if you have to go hunting for your wolves and your dogs to make sure they're still hungry or you know, satisfied, whatever. But now we're choking people out and looking them in the eye while we do it. You know, now we're you know, we're really getting a feel for our kills and not for, you know, I thought yes, like, this is, and you know, how about that? Like, even though it was like, okay, he is going back to old Kratos, but I don't think that was necessarily about throwing bigger spikes into bigger animals' chests. I think it's more about how you feel, like, in your heart, and I think they gave it a little bit more gravitas by doing something like that, having, like, a witness. Like, almost, can you imagine if Atreus saw him do that? Can you imagine if Atreus saw his father do that? I think Atreus would not be okay with it. I am okay with it.
Mind if I give you the best advice you've heard all day? And possibly ever?
Yeah. Sleep.
That's when all the troubles of your mind work themselves out.
Sure. Fine. Sleep? Sounds great.
Just for the record, this is my Give Me God of War game.
Get out of here already.
Already gone.
Okay, so here is definitely one of my critiques of the game. I'm not going to exactly jump on the whole bandwagon of how this part sucks. I like it here. I like the story. I like the fact that it also gives us even more of a feeling and sort of a craving for independence for Atreus. And everything that I've said about Atreus and wanting him dead. Not exactly. Oh my god, I keep on forgetting about this scene. This is great. You know, I thought about like doing like a reaction video with my first playthrough just for fun and just for like a record that I could have. But I did kind of realize that after a while I would be completely, you know, it would just be, sometimes my jaw was just on the floor. And this is really great because you're like, what the hell? It looks like I'm in one of the paintings. Is the show gonna start? Is the little animation gonna start? Nothing's happening. Alright, well, what? Huh? What the? Turn around. Right? I mean, it would sound like that. And maybe you would have heard me go, wow! But this is great. I would actually really, fuck it, I'll let it play. I would really like to know what came first. Like, was it the idea, or the fact that they were just like going through some digital files and they were like, did you see this file just called whatever? It's every take that this actor did of whatever. Oh. Well, we should do something with that.
We're sick of hearing about little people's little problems.
And that was one of those big deals, too, that you can't really, in 2018, one of my favorite moments in that game was when, you know, Atreus and him were really not getting along. And basically, you know, the whole, for people who don't know, you probably do, of course. Maybe my wife will listen to this one day. Who knows? But anyway, and she's, although she's already heard me tell this story, who knows if she remembers it. Anyway, the whole time in 2018, they train you to hit square to make him fire his arrows, So when you're fucking in an argument, yeah, there's one moment where like they turn it off and they kind of like leave it on like randomly. And he just stops like shooting, and it's like him being very, I don't have the word, you know, he's being rebellious. He doesn't want to follow his father's orders. What a great way to tell the story for the character. And then throughout the story, I do believe it's like when you're in Alfheim. No wonder he says like, I hate Alfheim. It's like when he argued with his father the entire time during the game. And, you know, I'm pretty sure, like, more or less somewhere in that level, there's a whole thing where every time you have him hit square, he goes, whatever. Whatever. And it's jarring, and it's funny, and it's great storytelling. And then, you know, of course, like, while he's doing it, while you're fighting, he's just pissing you off. And, like, parts of that level I remember where I'm just like, oh my god, I want him to shut up. Like, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand who I am, my education. I know best. And, of course, right away, you're like, yes, I'm being a father to... Hey! Stop it! Just because I'm fucking broadcasting to no one doesn't mean that you get to fucking do that. No! Those are two kitties. Anyway, where was I with Atreus? Okay, so all that said, I really dug it, and yes, I don't think there's going to be ever a time where I play this game again and I don't tear. Hold on, I have to get the spray. Oh. Well, Alice, It's okay. She's allowed to use the scratching post. You should give her a little space on that. Okay. Hey, hi, whoever's here, welcome. I'm sorry, I was literally just yelling at my cats while I was talking about Atreus. Alright, so, where was I? Atreus, 2018, blah, 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 remembering him, yes, whatever. Oh, yeah, so we're at the whatever part. Like, yeah, what came first? The idea to bring back that, like, rebellion. I mean, it works so well. You get to literally feel his regret every time he says whatever, and yet it was like, wow, I bet they just found that file, and they were like, look, literally, this actor said whatever, or at least they got 50 takes of whatever.
Broke the gate. That was our only way to Jotunheim.
What do you want?
Let's go.
Yeah, this is great.
I don't understand.
Whatever.
Here we go. Whatever. Oh, this was so good.
Hey, don't run off.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where I am?
Right. I mean, I'm guessing it's at least a good 12 in rotation, but what a great moment. By the way, yeah, whoever joined, I already gave my spoiler warning, so, you know. Right. So here you are again. But mostly what I was talking about is Atreus and his story. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I don't think there's never going to be a part, or I don't think there's ever going to be a time where I don't replay this game and tear up a little bit at a certain part every time I replay it. It just was sort of, it was just sort of produced that way. It's supposed to make you tear up, in my opinion, and I think it's going to make me tear up just a little bit every time. I'm so happy for Atreus, yes, even though I think he needs to die. Okay, all that said, real quick, here's what I want to say. I really enjoyed it. I think it's very necessary for the storytelling, and already this is now like my second Atreus part. So my first time, especially on Give Me God of War, it did give me a little bit of a challenge where I really had to think about at least what he was doing, or at least where Atreus was, so he wouldn't get hit in the head really easily, because Atreus never really has any sort of like health buffs or anything, so like you really gotta just not be hit, which is also kind of fun to think about, because like, you know, when you play 2018 or even when you play this game, you're like, how is this kid not dead? Like sometimes, like I'm all the way, and you can see it in the description, I am not very good at this game. I'm really not. I've seen some YouTube videos of people playing this game. It is just amazing what people can do, and I am just very slow. I'm also still very old school. Like I said, I played every God of War like in succession, and this game is so different. I still fall back into my old Kratos ways of just like, you know, as soon as I get hit 2 or 3 times, my revenge is to mash the buttons harder, because I know I'm trying to pull off like one certain combo just to get them dead. But you can't really do that because you end up making mistakes and leave yourself open, and I do it all the time. And for some reason in this game, every time I see a red, I'm getting better and better at parrying every day, and blocking, parrying every day. Like every day I see improvement, and that's because I'm knowing the characters. But I swear to God, every time I see one that's red, like an attack that's red that you have to parry no matter what, I can't fucking do it. I don't know what it is. Like that's why I threw in that reaction time. That was my cat. That's why I threw in that reaction time bit, because like I mean, I'm over 40 years old. I forget. I think I'm 42. I guess I'm too slow. Really? Like, I know. Don't even get me started about the armor, but my reaction time is terrible with some of these red attacks, and you just gotta memorize them a little bit more. Cool. Anyway, all that said, Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I hear the phone ringing. Oh, it's my wife. Alright. Hold on. Yeah, well, this is basically the official end of this broadcast. My wife is only so many blocks away, bringing home snacky dinners. So that means, like, you know, like I'll have like a microwave macaroni and cheese, maybe a dumpling, and like some wafer cookies. Okay. I don't remember what I was talking about. I'm not going to go back to it. It's a cliffhanger. Good grief. And actually, isn't this like the perfect time to? Oh, yeah, it kind of is actually. This is actually one of those times in the game where I'm like, okay, I'm here, and I'm gonna turn off the game. And tomorrow, I'm very curious to see where it'll put me. Where will it put me at the little boy staring at him, or will it put me at the whatever, or will it put me even like at the dinner table fucking before that, which would be interesting. And you know, that's a couple of critiques. So let's go over a couple of critiques. And oh, excuse me. Basically, the plan is to like take the good stuff and edit this. It's funny. Okay. So basically, really quick, before my wife gets home, I even want to just like sign off really quickly before she even gets back. Which was the whole point of like any of my shows, by the way. Okay, so what the fuck was I talking about? God damn it. I don't remember. I'm thinking about making sure I can wrap it up quickly, and I can't remember the fuck I was going to talk about. God damn it. Whatever. Okay, no, don't lean your hand on that. Okay, gee, yeah, I may have to listen back. Oh, well, it was just a list of complaints. Okay, fine. Yeah, I want to give a list of complaints, and I do, and officially, yeah, maybe I'll just get my disclaimer out. I don't make video games. I play them, and I play them because they're great, or they've delivered, and God of War has always consistently delivered, and it's a franchise that I'm just very cool with, and you know, like, yeah, like, give me God of War. I'm into it. Ascension. Ugh. I don't know. Part of me also wants to play that game one more time to see if I really missed something, but man, is that one bad. Anyway, yeah, so I want to talk about the music and how great the music in this game and world is. I want to talk about Freya. I want to talk about how just unbelievable, awesomely awesome Freya is. We can talk about Kratos. The Norns. I want to talk about the Norns. Some other good stuff too. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in here, but all that said, I mean, and again, like I understand now, maybe as I didn't before, maybe in God of War like 1. Like, the team of people, of how many people, and by the way, yeah, I watched the credits, and I want to bring up Troy Baker. I want to talk about Troy Baker. Are you kidding me? Troy Baker is the fucking squirrel in this game? Is this fucking guy? Are you kidding me? Troy fucking Baker. He's like the salt in everyone's recipe. Like, he's in every fucking recipe. It's amazing. And he deserves to be. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to not like him. I like it. Like, if he came to, look, I respect this guy. I really do. But, like, I do feel like if he came to a party with his guitar, I'd be like, Troy, can you just chill? Probably. But is there anything that this guy like really can't do? Like really, this guy's amazing. I do have complaints. And I also want to preface that I am playing on a PS4. I'm playing like on an original PS4. I don't even know what it is. It's not a PS4 Pro, I can tell you that. It's an old model, and I think that's the reason why it's still ticking, because I think it was like maybe one of the first generations or whatever. And this thing is unstoppable, and I will knock a little wood on that. I could tell that story, and you know what? I'll tell you what. Just because that's how they do it in YouTube. If you leave a comment about, or if you ask me about how I got my PlayStation, I will tell that story. I am warning you, it's a little heavy. But I got some complaints. I really do. With all respect to everyone. And really, my hat is off to you. I think they made a brilliant sequel. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how these guys really made a wonderful sequel to a game rather than just the next game. Like, what an appropriate way to handle a sequel to a game. We can talk about that. But I got complaints. Really. Again, PS4. Maybe things weren't loading for me appropriately, but I got issues with how this game has been playing out. And the only reason I have the issues is, again, the task, the humongous task you must have to take to fucking make this all go down perfectly, especially with combat, because the combat is amazing. But why are people talking over one another? And oh my goodness, I have a clip of a boat like duplicating at the worst fucking time. I've seen other people's videos. I've seen some other shit. I have fallen through worlds. I have 2 clips of me falling through different platforms or whatever in the world, and it was just like, what the fuck? One was kind of understandable. The other one wasn't. But, just sort of these things where... And as I've also learned that the term is AAA gaming, right? Like, so, we're, and man, I got a couple things to say about that, because I'm getting a little tired of like hit square to move, and it's just like, all right, I get the idea, and yeah, like I guess that's how you're hiding loading screens and whatnot, but maybe we can do it a little bit better. I do have a couple of ideas, believe me. But I don't think it's nothing that's totally new. I want to get back to some old shit. I want to get back to some of those automatic Kratos parts. Like fucking Frogger. I can talk about that later too. But yeah, like I've just had some, characters talking over one another. For me, I feel like it's the PS4, but I got other like groggers or droggers are coming in, and like they don't have swords in their hand, and I can't like see the attack. Like some of them come in halfway, and it's just like, man, like how disappointing is that? And I guess in the beginning of before my wife called, what we were talking about is maybe like, I guess I would really just have to just really quick, and I'm just going to stop. Replay value of this game. There are parts of this game that I think, especially by like now that it's my third playthrough. Well, I wanted to play an entire game really quick on Give Me Balance. And really, like, run through the story really quickly. No way! Are you kidding me? You're joining the party now? Okay. Hi. It's so good to hear from you. But yeah, like, I am technically live on YouTube right now. I was like, I want to talk to people. Not that you're people and I'm talking at you. But, like, I was like, I want to talk. I want to talk about God of War. I knew you played the game, maybe. I didn't know where you were. And I was like, let me just broadcast and just talk to no one. And I think maybe I did see one person joined. I can't imagine they're still on. But I've just been talking about God of War. And Allie is almost on her way home. But I did sort of say we may have a special guest today to the show that no one's listening to. And now you're here. Hello, how are you? I'm sorry. I hope you're tired and happy. Debatable. Sure. Understood. Understood. I